Grace and peace to you. This is yours truly, Bishop Bowser, coming at you once again. I have a question I want to ask. Are black men able to bring change within the Democratic Party? And I asked that question because I read an article on News One, and you see it behind me, but I'll read it to you. It says, DNC Democratic leaders push for deeper connections with black male voters. And then it says, as black men continue to be a focal point in this election cycle, Democrats are determined to go beyond traditional voting outreach and improve engagement among black men before November. And so we know, and we've been seeing throughout the years during these election cycles, that more and more black men have been pulling away from the Democratic Party. They have either become Republicans and they're saying, hey, I'm going to vote for Trump, or they are either saying that I'm independent or nonpartisan, and I'm going to vote down the ballot, but I'm not going to vote on a president in this election. Or they simply saying, I'm going to sit out this election because neither party is addressing the issues that are important to me. And so if the Democratic Party, because most blacks vote Democratic, and so that's why you see a lot of, especially black men today, pushing hard on the Democratic Party, because most blacks vote Democratic, but we have, as black people, have not really gotten anything out of it, haven't gotten anything out of it, right? Of supporting, being loyal, and voting Democrat just automatically all the time. And so there's a movement now among black men especially that is pulling away, not only pulling away, but also framing a narrative out there, right? And pushing hard on the Democrats that, like, hey, we want to see something specific. And so when we talk about change and talk about addressing the issues that black men want to be addressed, we're not monolithic as black men, and there's various issues or various reasons why black men are given some issues and some pushback to the Democratic Party. Number one, there are black men out there that are conservatives and they're Republicans, and they're going to vote Republican no matter what. And of course, they're riding along this wave, and they're going to always push against Democrats, liberals, and all of that. So we know that that's out there, right? We also know that there's a lot of black men who are Democrats, right? And they're sold out to the Democratic Party, and no matter what the agenda is, they're going to vote Democratic, right? No matter what. And we find that especially among the elites, among entertainers, athletes, and so on, who try to drive the narrative among the average and the common black folks, especially black men out in our communities and so on. But then you find these black men who are kind of like, becoming a part of a movement that is saying, no, we want to see some tangibles, right? And so one of the things that, a few things, I'll give you at least three things that I've been hearing, even though there's a lot of other issues, and I'm not addressing all the issues, just some of the things I've been hearing that's out there. There's three things. One is, for sure, reparations, right? Black people, especially black men, they are pushing for reparations, especially what we call foundational black Americans or American descendants of slavery, those who ancestors, right, who helped build this country in slavery on up, right, and all the various different discrimination, racism, abuse that black people have gone through even after slavery. So most definitely pushing for reparations. And for the most part, a lot of times, especially when you look at the presidential candidates, none of them ever want to say, yes, I'm for reparations, right? Can't even say that out of their mouth. And so a lot of black men are giving pushback on that and demanding some tangibles, demanding reparations. If you don't want to address that, then we're not going to vote for you, right? And we're going to sit this out. And then the second thing is a lot of black men now are asking, what are you going to do specifically for black people, right? What they are saying is that we want to hear you say, this is what I'm going to do for black people, right? And we want to hear you say that, right? That this is specifically for black people, whether it's dealing with housing, employment, education, health, education. I think I mentioned education, economics, all the various different things in the housing and so on, being able to business and so on. We want to hear you say something specifically that's going to benefit black people. We've always been in back of the line. Now we want to be in front of the line. And you must address something specifically for black people. And black men are not just pushing it for themselves as black men, but they're pushing it for their families, and they're pushing it for the black community, and so on. And they're not just being selfish about this, but they're really saying, we want to see something done in our community, in the black family, specifically for black people, something that is tangible. And so we want to hear you say, this is specifically for black people, because every other group, whether it's racial, ethnic, or whatever, you do specific things for other groups, and this is what black men are saying. But when it comes to black people, you're saying, oh, I'm not going to do nothing just for black people, but you do it for all other people, specifically things done for them. So we're always in back of the line, even when they say black people's going to benefit from it, we're the last to benefit from it. So we want to hear something specifically tangible that's for black people in all these arenas. What are you going to do? And this is what they're asking. This is where they're holding these politicians accountable. And then thirdly, I would say is that black men want to be directly engaged by their politicians. Most of the time we are ignored. Most of the time, the only time attention is given to black men are when we are killed by the police, or killed through community violence, or when we are in prison, right, or something like that. Then people are all of a sudden concerned about the black man. But when the black man is out here standing on business with 10 toes down, most of the time there is no concern for the black man. Even I'll use myself as an example for one of the politicians that I vote for in my district, right? Black person has never engaged me, right? And never reached out to me or any men that I know in the community say, hey, I want to talk to you black men and hear what's your concerns or what your issues. They take us for granted. They show up everywhere. They give a lot of attention to black women. No disrespect. Amen. Get what's coming to you. But black women and to all other groups. But when it comes to black men, we are neglected and pushed to the side. And black men are tired of it. But black men, as I said before, they're not just fighting for themselves, but they're fighting for their families and their communities and so on. And so the only people that you'll see that's going along to get along when it comes to black men are those that are either sold out to the Democratic Party or those that are beta males and simps, right? They'll go along to get along. But when you find strong, independent black men that's willing to think for themselves, those are the ones that are standing up. And it's a movement that is happening and it's growing. And unless the Democratic Party start engaging us directly and start paying more attention, then you're going to have some problems. And like I told you, and I'll close on this, there are people that, black men, that are going to vote Republican. And there's some young men that I talk to also that's really not involved in all this politics, but they say, hey, I like Trump, right? And so the Republican Party, Trump is making appeal to some people. Now, for me, I would never vote for Trump. Never voted for him, never will. But the same thing with Democrat. If you ain't addressing issues important to me, I'm not voting for you either. So I'll never vote for Trump. I haven't written the Vice President Harris out completely yet, but I haven't heard her say anything specifically that addresses the issues that's concerning me as a black man in America and how she's going to address issues pertaining to us specifically. I haven't heard her done it. If she's done that, then I need to hear that and so on, because I'm still open. Yet this is August. We got to November. But if I don't hear or get anything, I'm for sure will sit it out as far as voting for president. I'll vote down the ballot for everyone else on the proposition, things like that. But I will not vote for president. I've done it many times before. When the issues are not addressed, I don't care what your race is, I don't care what your gender is. If you address the issues important to me, you got my support and you got my vote. But if not, I'm sorry. I'm just not going to go along to get along. And that's the way I always have been. And so that's what I want to share with you in regards to black men, because the DNC, if you want to reach black men, then you just can't say vote for us because we love you and we care about you. We're not Republicans and so on. You got to have something specific on the table for black people, and black men are standing on business this time, and it's going to grow. So if you want to get that vote, then you got to change how you engage us. All right, God bless you.